So there it is. The end stream. The stream is beginning. There was some technical issues, but it seems like they are fixed right now. So that's nice. So how are you doing this evening? I'm doing well. There's a lot of stuff from Greenshift, but also from WordPress core that have been announced. So I'm really excited to get in those posts. And also we're going to continue on creating the Drive Capital website as we did for the last couple of weeks. And hopefully finishing up the last things that we are going to manage to do today. And perhaps I will install the animation add-on as well, because I think it will help us in the long run. And it looks nicer, right? So let's switch it up and show my screen. So there we and turn on my camera. Oh, hello. This is a update that Igor sent in the Greenshift community post. So if you don't know already, if you want to contact one of the developers of Greenshift, it's Igor. Let me zoom in a little. There we go. And he contributes a lot. So he's very active in the Facebook group. You can go to groups and Greenshift WP, and there is a lot of things that he posts, and he's very active and helping people. And today he posted this one. There's an update available with a lot of buttons, and those are preset. So the design's already made. The advantage of using a preset is that the text or the contents won't change, only the looks of the button. So I'm very excited to see how that goes. The update is live, so if you update Greenshift, you should see, at least for the buttons, some kind of presets. I am wondering how interesting this is for the long run, because in my experience, you set the design of a button once and then you don't touch it. Maybe you have a primary, a secondary, and a third kind of button, which all should be consistent according to a brand you have. And I'm wondering if the solution that he now offers, as you can see, it's a list of different kind of buttons and looks and feels. And I don't know if that makes sense to have. I do like the style of the buttons though. So if there's a way that it gets into your style book and then you can reuse it everywhere, that you at least keep consistency as a designer, I would like to see that. But I'm wondering where this does make sense is, for example, in containers, that you can have a predefined pentagrid layout or predefined 3-column layout or whatsoever. I think presets makes most sense in there. But yeah, those are just my thoughts for the block presets. Let me know in the chat or in the comments down below what you think about it. Do you like the update? So to be clear, I do like the update, but I don't know if the button is the right position to do this. But it is the first iteration, so I am wondering how it will go. Also, there was a question on, can we add our own presets? I think that's something that does make sense. Although we have a class block system in Greenshift, not everything is saved in there. For instance, if we do an animation in the Advanced tab, we don't have any way of saving the animation itself, like I describe here. So, and the previous version of reusability, as I can say, the previous version was a little bit better because that the animation was also copy and paste. So as a story, I would suggest as a user, I want to be able to reuse the exact block that I created, and I wanted to reuse it anywhere. Also, I think the comment from Ben is a very good one. He states that in a private message that he wonders if it's a smart thing to do to have yet another place where you can set the designs. And in the long run, I want that as well, because you have the styling of the theme, you have the styling of the WordPress, and I am assuming that those are in theme styles. Then you have the styling in the style book from Greenshift plugin, and then now you have another styling which are presets. So there are 4 ways of you, or maybe 3, for you to create a style, and I'm wondering if that's the smartest thing to do. But yeah, let's see how this continues, and I hope they will at least consider what I've written down, and also take into account the concerns of one of the Greenshift users. I do know what Greenshift wants to solve. There's a lot of questions from how do I copy this style, or how do I create this, or how can I simply just do X and Y? And usually it's just a lack of presets happening or templates available. And that's a nice bridge for the second update they've made. 8.2, a major update is ready, and we will install it for the Drive Capital so that we can see what the changes they have. And with the update, there's a new demo available, which I really like. Let's see, and this is my first time seeing it. I just started the... Ooh, this is nice. Look at the lovely colors and nice design. And this is a little bit different than the default navigation. I really like the aesthetics. Here, one of our favorite tools nowadays, right? Pen to grid. Old smart animations giving a 3D depth effect. I love this. This looks very awesome. The button is inconsistent. Can you see? When you hover over this one, it doesn't change. What happens if you press? It doesn't do anything. And this one changed to purple. And the other one's changed to purple as well. Or the animations. It's nice. And here we have a different kind of button. So yeah, in terms of consistency, there can be a little bit improved, I guess. But getting this theme for free with all the animations already in there, that's a lot of effort. He mentioned that it took 2 weeks to create, test, and prepare. And as I am working on just the homepage for the Drive Capital website, I can see that it takes a long time to just recreate a design and also try to incorporate all these small animations. This one, I think, also needs to animate, right? But yeah, overall, it looks amazing. Nice. Building WooCommerce stores, very nice. Here again, consistent with the button. Yeah, overall, a very good experience. I'm wondering how this will be seen. Is this a part of the template of the FSE, or is it part of something else? There are many improvements related to the feedback. You gave many updates are for the query add-on with new visibility options, nice taxonomy, archive update, etc. And there's a new template. So he expects every 5 days to finish a template. That would be nice. But this one took more than 2 weeks. Do we want to see such templates in the future, or better to make something more universal and multi-purpose? If you ask me if I want to see templates like this or universal, I would say that it makes sense to have some kind of templates that are all the main parts of websites. If you look at, for instance, one of my other favorite tools, Cadence and look at their starter templates. Now, I do know that they don't have these kinds of fancy animations going on. AI Starter, yeah, it's their new product, but I want to see Cadence templates. I thought I saw it on Google. Starter templates, there we go. So if possible, it would be nice that these kind of things are available and that these also are available as patterns. But it's a fully functioning website in this case. So if it takes 5 weeks to do the front page, maybe we can, there's a possibility they can gradually upgrade the design. So first just a static design and then animate it afterwards. So that people have a way of working with it. You're talking about inconsistency. Yeah, I don't know what I wanted to say, but yeah, gradually upgrading the designs could help, quite possibly. And give people the tools to create a website faster. That's actually the goal of those templates, right? So I think it does make sense. All right, let's close this up. So those are the new things from Greenshift. Let's see if we go to cart. Yeah, we can. It's also nice that you have an example of how it will look. Add to card, view card. Also a card demo with a nice design. Let's see to check out. Nice, it looks good. Oh, would make sense that they should have used the WooCommerce conversion pack they've added last week. But I get if this takes 2 weeks, you want to have early feedback as well, right? What do people want? So yeah, I love the update. I love the changes. I love the way that they've added a template. Would like to see a full web page if possible, and that each section is available as a pattern as well. It means a little bit more development effort, but that you can easily just drag and drop all the parts that you like and that you want into your website. And I do think that makes sense. Also considering we're going to full site editing more and more, and then it will be just easier for you, right? So the next thing, WordPress 6.5 beta or beta, I don't know how you pronounce it. 1 is released. Please don't install this on your production or live websites because there can be some issues in there. I'm very excited for this one. Playground instance. Ooh, nice. Because let's see if we can test some things that I'm very excited about. One is the semi-synced patterns. Sorry. So the synced patterns gets an update. They bring efficiency, and then you can. I don't know if this makes sense to do right now. I will play with it, and then next week and during a live stream, I will show you how it works and what I think about it. The few things that I'm most excited about is the font library gets an update. You can now finally select a font from Google Fonts, and those fonts will be installed, as I can see here, and also available for the whole WordPress website, which is awesome. Next one is the synced patterns. You have the synced patterns and the non-synced patterns, and this one update is in between, so you can set a few sections within the pattern to be adjustable when you put it in. you can look it up on YouTube, if I am remembering correct. Jamie Marsland is a great YouTuber for WordPress, and he covers that in the in his WordPress announcement and small changes. And just search for the updates he has available and the nice things. You should have that also covered. And else, I just had a new subscription on, what's her name? Welcome to my YouTube subscriptions. Let's have a look. I don't see her. But it was recommended to me on the homepage of YouTube, and it showed all the changes that are coming our way for 6.5, even the small changes, and I really like that one. So this is where preparation comes in handy. But yeah, if I have to be quick, it often can't be done by me. Yeah, I can find her. I will put a link in the description if you watch this later, and you can find it there. So there are a lot of great things coming. Some revision changes. Classic themes can up into appearance tools. Yeah, there will be just a lot of changes, and the one I'm also excited for is the big performance gain across editing experience. So you will notice that it will work much faster than it did before. I'm really keen on learning and trying out this beta. So that's it for the updates today. Now let's get to recreating the section. So this is our website. Let's see, there's our update available, 8.2. Let's just update it so that we have the latest version. Updating, there we go. And let's have a look at our front page. Refresh. So we are recreating this website. Now we don't have this animation in there. We might look into that today. We do have the animation with the images, as you can see in here. Let's refresh this one, and then you will see the animation in here as well. So there you go. The two-part section, the hover effect, we've also added that. We didn't add this image because it requires some animation scroll. Perhaps I will do that today for this one as well. But today I want to focus on recreating this section. So let's break down. So there are two carousels like that, both move up, and then the images come in from the top, just like every other image actually on this website, from top, and it scales downwards. All right. Now we can't do this animation in the free version. So the scroll effect animation, that one image moves up and the other one down. As you can see, this one moves up and the other one moves down. Let's see. So this one moves up, and this one moves up, and this one moves down. As you can see, slightly, we won't be able to recreate that with the free version, but we can do that with the animation add-on, or so yeah, let's see if we need to add it later. And this section is something we've already recreated. The image is down, so let's see if we can recreate that one as well. This is the one that's also nice. It's actually an SVG and the lines move outwards. I don't know if I'm going to recreate that one. It's a canvas even. So I won't be able to recreate that one in this live stream. If you would like to see it, let me know. But else I will just use a static image. And then the footer reveal. So let's start on this section, because this is where we left off. Here we have the two-column layout. And that represents this one. And let's go ahead and add this section. So pop into our dashboard. And edit. Let me scroll down. I am thinking that I've used grid for this one, and maybe it does make sense to perhaps use Flexbox, or we should change our grid to be mobile friendly, responsive. So then we need to change these settings. So then you do set it to repeat. You don't set it to repeat, you set it to min max with 1 FR. No, not even that. You need to change the template to be 1/3 on desktop and 2/3 on desktop, but you want 2 columns when it's mobile. So I guess you have to change the grid settings. There are some improvements on mobile as well, so maybe we can look into that afterwards as well. But let's first add the next section. So we add my favorite CSS grid container, but does that make sense? I think this is just a slider with another carousel, and then in between we can add a div that has almost no height, and the images are just a few pixels above and this one a few pixels downwards. So we can play around with positions to recreate this. Yeah, let's try and see how that will look. Let's first just add afterwards a container. No, we don't have to add the container. We can just immediately add the wrapper in there. The slider, sorry. Let's slider carousel. So we set that to 12,000. Content. Amazing. Slider. Let's speed it up a little bit for our backend. Made for our dashboard, sorry. Made with Greenshift. And perhaps we can add another slider by flex. And then we can add another slider from Daggy's reviews. So now we can change the sliding settings. 12K. We will loop and we will set it to autoplay. Do not disable after interactions. So whatever interaction you do, it will keep looping. We want it to be centered, have free mode with a linear transition. so it just keeps going. We don't have to snap. We can set it to auto hide and disable touch because we want this continuously scrolling. We don't want any delays between the autoplays. Let's get rid of the arrows. Let's get rid of the pagination. And let's change the amount of values we see. Maybe a little bit more space for now, because we need to change the text to be high text. So that will be Antonio in this case. So I think I would add a heading and then set it to H1 because my H1 is set to Antonio. A amazing slider. And we can just copy the style. And let's remove this one. Then I hoped I could be more lazy, but unfortunately it's not possible. So amazing slider made with remove that one, shift alt, and whoa, this is trippy. Add afterwards, heading. We just want to paste in, right? There we go. Greenshift. And by legs. So let's save this. And let's view our site. There we go. There we have our first sliding. This one is a lot bigger, so we can change the values there. We can set our font size. You press this button to quickly go to the settings that for the preset fonts. And we set it to big and maybe even Colossus. I guess that one's too big. So let's get it one size smaller and make it uppercase. So now we can copy and paste the style attributes. And as you can see, it makes my life a lot easier. Paste style attributes. Let's save that one. And as you can see, it has duplicated these sections already without the styling we had before. So what you can do is just refresh the page and it will fix the issue. And on the front page, you won't see that happening. I do think this one needs to be a little bit bigger. So let's change that. I guess this has to do with the amount of items per row, but also the spacing. I usually love to just remove the spacing so that we can have more items in a row. There we go. In here it's even bigger. We can go bigger if we would like to. Colossals. Did I select this correctly? Yes, I did. And then in here from boss to the most biggest one. Now I am wondering why it doesn't reflect my change. Is it because I didn't select the... Nope, doesn't matter. Well, it's fine as well. Then we can just leave it as is, right? Ooh. So I guess we need to refresh this page as well. Let me get a sip. Ooh, we have 7 people in watching. Hi there, how are you? So now it's bigger, and it's reflecting here as well. That's what I love to see. So let's set the other ones as well to the larger size. At first it did update and now it doesn't. That's strange. No matter, because a refresh does fix everything. There we go. And let's change the amount of items per row. Now, one issue that Antonio, the type, has, has a very large spacing in top of bottom, and we can fix it by setting the line height to auto. At least that should fix it. Save and refresh the page here. But because the other ones are also very big, we need to change those as well. So let me change that for all of them. Auto. This one also auto. Can also set it to onset. And save. Let's say also save the dashboard. So, yeah, there it is. Still a lot of spacing going on the top of the bottom, but at least we have our infinite carousel scrolling text like this one in there. We can change to make it faster. So instead of 12, we go to 10,000 and save. And there we have our slider. So let's duplicate this one. And just like the other one, instead of centered, we do off-centered. I showed this in my Bend to Grid video. If you haven't seen it already, it's a video about the Bend to Grid that I've... No, not this one. That we have updated. And here I go over how I also made this. So there we go. And if we refresh the page, we need to save it, of course. Looks good. Thank you. You're looking good as well. Let's refresh this. Oh. Now there's a lot of spacing between those, so we can fix that by removing. So I would love that the quick settings are here as well. But for now, it's also fine that it is in here. You're getting so... Greenshift team has spoiled me so much with all these kind of neat things that you just can press this one to change the spacing between them. That when it's not there, it's just a little bit frustrating. But yeah, you can just change it in the side as well. So let's change the values here. -100. And perhaps this one. Top. -100. Can even set it more that closer. I do think this spacing looks better than for our font size. Yep. let's see. Add before, because in between we want to have the images. We can just add a container, and within the container we want to have 2 images. I will just pick 2 random ones. Image. And let's duplicate. Oh, this is giving me headache already. So 2 images, and in the first one, let's add a existing image we already have. And perhaps we can even be more lazy. Add afterwards. Just put a placeholder there. I mean, we already have images coming in, right? So let's see. It's this one. And this is also nice in the next update. The plugins, you are able to rename the plugins, so you don't have to search which section do I need to adjust. Then you can just rename it and you call it, I don't know, 2 images, and you can just find it. So I'm also very excited about that update in the 6.5 WordPress core update. Let's see. Can just as well just duplicate this one. Remove it. Let's have a look. Does it give me issues? Or didn't it save? Ah, I didn't hit save. Ah, there we go. A little bit like the animation already, right? Like this one. The image is more upwards and they have different heights. So let's change that. Also, where did we set it? I'm looking to see where I set the changes. Well, we can just as well adjust this one, right? To have less spacing. So we have here the slider spacing, and let's go down. It's safe. There we go. See, we have a connection issue, so I hope that the stream will be all right. Let me know if it isn't. But I guess you can't. Let me check a little bit to see if everything is okay. Looks like everything is working, so. And there we have our overlap images. Now we just have to change the Z index. So let's change that for the first one. We need to change the position to relative and then set it to 1. And then we change the CSS grid. And they are both overlapping the first one. So we need to change the CSS grid, and then in advanced go to position and also relative set it to 2. And this needs to be set to position. I hope this works because last time there were some issues there, if I remember correctly. There we go. It does work this time. So there were no issues. I remember it was an issue with something I forgot to set, and that was the ending of the style tag. But as you can see, it's already a little bit the same as our example we are trying to recreate. Let's see. Position, general, spacing. We add the minus spacing in here, right? The slider. Yeah, let's keep it consistent. So we find one. We also know where to find the other. And let's add just a little bit more negative margin to top. And let's change the sizes of the grids. I would like to have a 3-column grid, and this one needs to go there. Save. So now it's in about the same position. You can play around with positioning. You can add, let's just show it, right? We can add another column, and in the grid, here's one is, and there's a little spacing now, just like here. But we can change our grids. So this one needs to go be smaller. And let's make this one smaller as well. And these one will stay the same. So there will be a little bit spacing there and a little bit spacing here as well. We can still play around a little bit with the size. And let's apply templates. I forgot to press that one before saving. And now we have spacing around a little bit. It looks good this way if you ask me. Let's change the position, and I want to change the position of this one after the animation is done. So it says transform. Let's shift it to minus 50 pixels. And the first one needs to have a shift X and 50 pixels. So that pulls one up and the other one down. Refresh it. If it is saved, now it is saved. And the changes aren't doing a lot, and I guess that has to do with the interaction layer we have set. It has to change the height. Does that mean that it ignores the transition as well? It says transition. We didn't do anything fancy in here. We only scaled the images, so I would expect this one to work. Let's refresh this one more time. And let's inspect it a little bit, because I don't see the transform being done. It looks like it is ignored. So perhaps I didn't set it well enough. See if we can. Yeah, that's why, because I set it to the x-axis and it needs to be the y-axis. Classic me. I always get those two mixed up. I don't know why, but yeah, it just happens. Now let's add a position in here as well. Maybe, yeah, so now the changes works as expected, but we changed this the wrong way around. And there are a lot of spacing there as well, so let's change those. And shift that one. Let's hit save. Thank you, Tony. That looks good. You're looking good as well. Are you just trying to get a compliment now? Yep, there we go. Now it looks a little bit the same as this one. You can play around with the transform. You can play around with different images and with spacing. But if you ask me, this looks quite good. So as Tony and Mohi said, or Singapore Math Academy, it looks good, and I do agree. So now we can go to the next section. We already know how to build this one, so we can do that quite quickly. I'm wondering how this would work, but I already have an idea on how to do that as well. So let's add the next section of CSS Grid of containers, and it also has two containers, right? 1/3 and 2/3. I wonder how we can do this. 1/3 and 2/3. So let's add the grid template. The first one is for the amount of rows, and the second one is for the columns. So 1FR, 2FR means 1 column width and 1 row width. And here they have building radius. So we're going to add, just copy this one, because why not? No, we already see there is some struggle with the amount of space the slider has. And to fix that, we just need to set a position. For now, what we also can do is wrap up these in a container. As you can see, the blue sections is how big they are, and that's just because of the text. Antonio, what are you doing to me? Antonio, Google Fonts. Thanks, mate. Trying to ease your suffering to watch me suffer. Well, at least we share the experience, right? And that's what we were doing right now. That's why I do these live streams, so you can see me suffer and gloat over it, that you can do it perhaps better than I can. At least, I hope so. What's going on here? So when we set a very big font size in Google Docs, it looks like the spacing is a lot less. No, not really. Thanks for making this more fun. I think I will just add more spacing for this section and group them up together so that we don't have to think about it later on. It does add another container. I'm not a fan of that, so instead of adding a container, I will just add some more spacing to the sections above and below them. Way too much. 10, 5. And now it does a little overlap, but it doesn't overlap the text. So we can set the same amount of spacing to this one, I hope, and that will fix our problem. EM 5. Tony, let me know, what are you working on? Do you have an amazing project working on right now? Because you are watching me suffer, so it will ease your suffering. Or aren't you working at all and just sitting on the toilet and having to suffer that way? Let's see. And here we have the second section. I'm very excited to create that one. Let's duplicate. And remove all the spacing. Set the to 0 is too tiny. We need to set to auto. And add afterwards another container. And this container will contain our text. Guess we just have to add a container that is as wide as 2 sections and add the indent, and the indent then needs to have 1 fraction of spacing. Does that work? I'm curious. Working on an interesting project for 4 months. Ooh, the launch is on Friday. So you're going for a celebration this Friday. Oh, sorry. And put you. It's too big. I guess I need to change my chat settings. But it's nice that the NDA is lifted. I hope after the launch. Have you created a website with Greenshift, or have you used something else? One FR. See, this is what I'm. To a mental hospital? I don't hope so. Let's see. But yeah, sometimes working on a project can give you headaches, so I do understand. It's not in the grid of containers, so that's why. At least that doesn't work. And I was afraid that that would happen. The experience is improved also in the next version of selecting and dragging the sections in the right place. No, we don't have to set this one. You're using GS theme and plugin plus custom code to interact with APIs. Ooh, that's awesome. I was thinking of something similar once when I was a young boy. No, I'm kidding. I'm still relatively young. But it would not, with the ease of use that you can create websites within WordPress, would you be able to create a more sophisticated design using APIs just to get the contents in there? And then you can make a mock-up design, and then using the APIs, getting everything in there. For example, I work for a company for business-to-business applications, and usually you have some kind of API going on, and it would be very awesome, instead of having a Figma file, just to have pull in their data into WordPress and then recreate the dashboard in WordPress itself, that you can quickly validate what kind of interactions they want with the data they're using. So I am really curious how you set it up and created this, Tony. So after the NDA is relieved, or if you just happen to have some time on your hand to share your knowledge, that would be awesome. Let's set this to 2 columns. Yeah, this is where I was afraid of. It doesn't go into the 2 columns. So I see that there's something. Oh yeah, of course. If I change the year, it doesn't matter because I need to change it in the grid. And then our portfolio. You're doing something simple with pre-made APIs, which are really easy, to be honest. That's nice. It's always awesome if there's a straightforward API instead of having a very difficult one. At least we can both be in very anxious about this, so it's a nice shared feeling, right? Let's see. Is there another grid in there? Heading. Do we actually need a container wrapper? Can we just put it like this? And does it work fine? Yep, it does. This means you can remove 2 containers, which means you need less containers, which is always better. But we can't do that here because those needs to be grouped together. This one the same. But for this one, that's nice. And this one, we can also remove the container then as well. At least when we're using CSS grid of containers. So let's break these CSS grid containers. I think there will be fixed sometime that the CSS grid containers, the containers can be removed. There we go. So one tip from me, if you ever need, if you can remove containers, do so, because it will clean up your code and things that you don't need. I mean, if you don't need it, why have them, right? There we go. So we have removed already 8 containers. That's a lot. Or maybe less. I don't keep counts. Let's see. How can we tackle this one? Because we wanted to have a 1 fraction indent. But setting it to 1 fraction indent doesn't work. So this needs to be a fixed size then, but then it doesn't align with the other sections, which are 1 fraction. So how did they do it? And the same goes for this button. Wow, how did they do it? Now I want to see how did they approach this one. Yeah, they just added a full this one in there. Yeah, 2 columns, and this one's also in 1 column. And they set the column there. Let's see, but how big is this indent? How do you set it to start here? I mean, I assume they use text indent, right? Computed. It doesn't seem like there's anything similar to it. Text. Oh, darn it. Inspect. How did they approach this one? If it's not text indent, what did they use? Text line start. Margin block doesn't make sense. Line height. Oh, I really am curious, how did they fix this? Yeah, they used a 12 column layout, but then still for the first sentence to be there. Oh, font size, weight, grid. It will start and end. It has a block, inline. I don't know how they did this section. If anybody does know of her or has some time, let me know. Let's just continue on. And we set this just to a very large size. Are they actually... No, this is grids. There it counts 0 to 1 fraction. So that's how they do it, at least this one. Always have 12. Right. I think we just need to set it manually. Thank you for agreeing with having the least amount DOM elements if possible. It is tricky sometimes, but 17. I wonder if this... Nope, it won't work. How did they do it? If you know, please let me know. Maybe I will look after the stream on how did they create it. And let's add a button here as well. Our portfolio. Tags, reviews. See our portfolio. I wonder if it will be the case that the answer was staring right at me. And then change the grid. 1, 2. This is what happens, right? We need to add, or don't we have it? Yeah, it's in there. And it gets a container. It doesn't need any container, because we can change the text in the grid. So there we have our 4 sections. And the last section needs to be deleted, so let's put it for there for now. Why didn't you change? Because the button needs to go on the next line and not on the same one. So, grid. This doesn't work, so we need to put a container around this one. Let's be sure that it does work as expected. So now it looks as it should, at least in the backend or in our dashboard. Oh, that moved into the footer. I can't wait for the subtle animations to happen for this. Yeah, it doesn't work now. But it's fine. This is what we like to have, right? So let's add some spacing to the bottom of 1 EM. maybe even more. And there we have this section. And let's recreate this one. We can borrow the one that we have before. So this is not the one. This one has 2 containers, so that should be the one. Yes. Duplicate that one. Put it on the footer. And within this container, I want everything to be aligned to the... No, not self-aligned. I want everything in the section to be aligned at the bottom. And let's save that. There we have those images. This does look a little bit awkward. And also I forgot to set the spacing of this section from left to right. So let's add our variable spacing. And there we have our homepage finally finished. We need to fix those jumping things though. How can we change those without breaking anything? Home. If we can add the height effect to the image instead of our container, that would be nice. %. Let's test out how we can do this. Oh, when we flip it on. But that wouldn't matter because the image is changing size. It looks weird when you're jumping somewhere in the middle of the page, but it looks fine when you scroll down. No, it doesn't. So how can we improve that? We need a way to find how big our largest image is. And we also need to change our footer as well. So we need to improve those effects and perhaps look at our, do we add And we need to add a border 1 pixel to those. Let's do that real quick. A border of 1 px, border bottom 1 pixel solid, not 11. And it needs to have a spacing of 1 em, maybe 2 em better. But instead of setting it to this section, we need to set it individually. So we can reset the border, and on we need to add a column just for the border. Add it for /container. We only need a container for aesthetics. That's nice. So 1 and have it white, and then the second container should also have a border of 1 px solid white. And let's add some spacing between them. We want the padding to be 2 em. And there we have it. I'm actually pretty happy with what we can do with the free version of Greenshift already. I mean, look at this. This is just amazing, and then it's all free. And how many live streams did it take to create this, including a lot of talking? So let's see. We go into our content and then live. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in 6 live streams. And we have to remove the amount, even 5, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the front page alone was done in approximately, this is 2 hours and 50 minutes, but I also know that I struggled with some things, and this one is fixing the issues in the first live stream. It was actually 3 streams we have created this, and let's say 1 hour per stream, although sometimes they are longer. I also talk about other things during my stream, right? So 1, 2, 3. So we created this even without the full knowledge on how to do this properly in 3 hours. And I'm actually pretty pleased that we could do this in such a short time. And now let's see if we can improve the experience, because, yeah, like I said, we just a little bit see the jumping of the contents. Here we immediately see it, and I want that to be fixed. One way of doing that is setting the interaction layer to another part, and what you can also do is try to figure out how they did it. How does it work? Let's see. Oh. Did a set something or double image reveal wrapper? Did they already set a size somewhere or something? iframe? Yeah, those are getting the height of the images. Image reveal wrapper. They have a position of absolute. Inset. What does that too? I see. I see what you're doing here. You're using a clip off. Smart. So I expect you are changing the clip off value. Yeah, you see? And then you can do this as well. So it goes from 0 to 100%. This does fix our issue, because the clip path is transitioning and not the container itself. So that's nice that we know how they did it. So let's add that to the first images. Let's see how easy it is. Slider. Then we have our 3 images. Let's see. Where do we have our clip path? Clip path. Let's just be lazy, right? Just copy and paste the clip path here. How do they start the clip path then? Start at 0? Transform property. Transform clip path. Filter and a clip path again. So I guess here we start off with a clip path of 0. We need to change our height over a container as well. And we can remove the interaction layer here. So let's remove that one. Okay. And this one can be removed because we are not animating this one anymore. And we don't have any difference in height. So now let's change the clip path settings just to figure out how this works. I guess we will start with 0. Save and see if we can change something in here. Where's the clip path added then? We only need to set this one, I guess. The polygon ID, the path ID of SVG for face mask. I hope this is what he's searching for. Margin. Let's see if we can find the clip path there he's using. That we're using. Greenshift Learning Center. Clip path. This is the example. Let's see how he does it. we advanced? Yeah, this is a GSEP thing. But can we do it with the free version as well? Where is the clip path set? Or did we just use the wrong one? Let's open this one up. Download. And let's zoom in a little. Let's see. Clip path. So here it just says that's this. Data threshold. Polygon. I mean, we can just copy and paste this one, right? What is it an ID? Update, add changes. Wow, I don't know how it is. How can we find how to do that? Do we need to go to start? Or do we go to clip path, generator? Trapezoid. Want to have a rectangle inset. Want to start off with. And then let's see. Round edges. I don't want any round edges. Yeah, this is. No, I don't want any round edges. Remove the edges. But what would we have to change then? The middle value to 100%. Let's have a look. Yep. So that's something I will look at off screen, because I'm done for today with the live stream. I didn't make it as far as I hoped, but we at least recreated this section. And that's already a nice thing. So if we scroll downwards, we've added this section and it looks really nice. And the one thing I would end this sections all as well. The one thing I would improve is using clip path or whatsoever to have the animations we have for our images to work properly, because now we have them suddenly coming in, and as you can see here, there's a little bit of weird things going on. It feels very buggy, so we can change that in the next live stream. And let's, yeah, I do like how this looks right now. Actually, I'm pretty pleased. So that's, yep. Sorry, that's it for the live stream. Thank you all for joining me, and I hope you find this very interesting. If you did, please hit likes and subscribe to my channel to see more of these kinds of videos where we try to recreate a website in Greenshift. I guess for next live stream, I will try to fix the polygon for the images and improve the homepage. And hopefully we can finish the project completely and then have this section in there as well with the nice effect that we have going on right here. So yeah, thank you for watching and see you guys next time. Keep designing.